Man, reading kids' books as an adult is wild. This is not the video that I expected to be making today. I was going to be doing a book tag, but I just finished reading a story from this, Just Wacky by Andy Griffiths, and it was so wild, I just had to talk about it. This story, if this was submitted to be published today, there is no way in a million years it would fly. Absolutely not. So, I have a bit of a story with this book. So this is Just Wacky. You might, if you're an Aussie kid in the 2000s, you know who Andy Griffith is. You read him. If you didn't, sorry mate, you did not have a childhood. As to why I, a 24-year-old adult, picked this up, I found this in a second-hand bookshop, and it's actually signed, which is a very lucky find. And because Andy Griffith was such a huge part of my childhood, I thought that would be a very cool thing to have. But if you grew up on Andy Griffith, you might never have heard of this book, or so you think. This is actually a reprint of Just Crazy, which in the original cover was bright green, had this boxy like chicken thing on the front. Yeah, this is that same book. Why they changed the title, I do not know. Especially since the word crazy appears within the title of a story in this book. Not the one that I'm going to talk about, but still there. Also, in the particular story I just read and I'm going to talk about, they use the words psycho and damn. So how those didn't get censored, but the word crazy in the title did, I do not know. But that is not what we're going to talk about today. What we're going to be talking about today is the second story in this book, which is called The Dog Ate It. And the funny thing about reading a kid's book as an adult is that you get this perspective on it that you didn't get as a kid. When you're a kid, you empathize and sympathize with the heroes who are, kids, and you get their actions way more than you do as an adult. The poster child for this is Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which I like reading now because as an adult I can see just how terrible a person Greg Heffley is, and it's actually kind of fun to see it through that light. If you want to get an idea of what an experience a kid's book as an adult is, read the Rowley Jefferson book Diary of an Awesome Friendly Kid. That is a dark book, I'm telling you. But that aside, so what is this story about, and why am I saying there is no way it'll be published in 2023? By the way, I should look at when this book originally came out. Let's have a look. Test copyright 2000. So yeah, this was published in 2000. I read it first in 2007, so when I was like 7 or 8, and we actually did it as a class novel. I don't remember if we read this story. I think we skipped a couple of them, but I don't remember this. I didn't remember this story. So yeah, it was pretty shocking to read it. So The Dog Ate It. So basically the story is the protagonist Andy, who is also self-insert and is a kid, and his best mate Danny are at Andy's house, and they've just done a school project where they had to make a UFO with aliens, but the problem is that Andy's dog Sooty has just eaten it, and they say that, well, we can't tell the teacher the truth because the dog ate my homework is the classic excuse, the textbook excuse that kids go to when they can't submit their homework. So even though that's the truth, there's no way the teacher will believe that. So eventually they come up with the only way to get their thing back. They can't get the flying saucer back that they made, but they can remake that. The problem is that they made 2 aliens to go inside it, and they don't have any more toy soldiers left to make new aliens. So the only solution is to try and make Sooty sick up the aliens. Yeah, so the entire story is them trying to make the dog be sick. So that alone would cause concern as someone publishing children's books, because I'd be worried about kids potentially emulating this, especially if something like that really happened. And how do they do this? Well, the first thing they do is they try to feed dogs chocolate, which is really, really dangerous. It's really bad. It can kill them. And apparently, Sooty once ate a bunch of chocolate and was really sick, and he somehow survived that. And I'm no expert, but I feel like, just from the description in the book, he should have died from that. But they try it again. Then their dad catches them and thinks that they were eating the chocolate, which they were, but they don't believe them when they say that Sooty ate it, which is also sort of true. So the next thing they come up with was, this gets even wilder. Again, this is a kid's book. Andy remembers a time when he and his cousin convinced him to try smoking, and that made him sick. So they go out hunting for cigarette butts to try and get Sooty to smoke. Yeah, in a kid's book. How did this fly? So anyway, their mum catches them, Andy's mum catches them, and tells Andy off, thinking again that he's smoking. And so she suggests that they go to the playground. And at first, like, no. But then he remembers when going on the playground and, like, whizzing around and around made him sick. So they're like, actually, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's bring Sooty to the playground. So that's what they do. And then they put him in a swing, and they start swinging him and up and down to try and, again, make him, like, motion sick. Peter would have a field day with this. And then one of their neighbors, like, sees them, tells them to stop doing that. But then he keeps swinging until Sooty flies out of the swing. And so they go and find him, and he's, like, weeing by a tree. But then these two girls walking a Rottweiler show up, and, like, ew, what are you doing? Watching your dog wee? And, like, now we're waiting for him to be sick. Like, that's worse. Which, yeah, it is. So, yeah. So then the Rottweiler attacks Sooty, and so there's this fight between them all trying to get the dog, like the other dog, to let Sooty go. And then that's what happens. And then the Rottweiler attacks Andy. And so then they run home. And then finally, they see Sooty be sick in the yard. And then, oh my goodness, finally. So then, like, Andy's poking to the vomit with a stick to try and he finds the aliens in there. And then his older sister Jen shows up and is like, ew, what are you doing? Pretty understandably. And she thinks Andy's poking through his own sick, Sooty's done a runner. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to tell Mum. And then eventually she shows up and she tells Andy to, like, respect Sooty. Then Sooty starts, like, eat his own sick again, because apparently that's a thing dogs do, and he eats the aliens again. So Andy tries to strangle Sooty to try and get him to spit them back up again, and then his mum shows up. He's like, what are you doing to that poor dog? You should respect him, because, you know, obviously. And so he makes Andy stay in the kennel, and Sooty goes on his bed, and that's the end of the story. I know this book is called Just Wacky or Just Crazy, and the stories in it are all, like, crazy, wacky, often kind of crude humor. You know, this is a kid's book. But I was still surprised. How did this get into print? How did the publisher not worry that kids might try to emulate anything from this? Yeah. How? How did this not get picked up? Like, 2000 must have been, like, a whole other time. Because no way would this fly in 2023. And I'm no softie. Like, I love books with shenanigans. Like, I'm reading this because it was a blast from the past. I wanted to revisit something from my childhood. This just caught me really off guard because I didn't remember it. And I wondered, again, how did this fly? Because I know it would not today. Anyway, that's my random impromptu reaction to this crazy short story. Again, the story is The Dog Ate It from Just Wacky / Just Crazy by Andy Griffiths. So, yeah, thank you for watching. This is probably not the kind of video you're expecting from me. Sorry if you got grossed out. Probably should have warned you about that at the beginning. But yeah, if you've ever read any Andy Griffiths or have any other wild memories of Andy Griffith stories, please do tell me in the comments. Thank you for watching.